Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, this is White Lightning. Welcome back to Star Wars Empire at War, playing in my Principles of Empire at War series as the New Republic. The last few episodes we've been working on wearing down the Eriadu Authority with some amount of success, ended up killing their warlord, Sander Del Bardis, as well as taking out one of their last remaining admirals over the planet of Yagdul on a raid there last time. Ended up getting some free ships from that, so that was great. So today, my main goal is going to be continuing to work on the Eriadu Authority. Our economy is looking in far better shape than it was. We got 6,400 net credit income per week here. So that's going to be really good for us. And today, I would really like to focus on, in addition to conquering this Eriadu capital planet of Eriadu itself, we are going to work on building up our mass, building up our forces. We're going to focus on the principle of warfare of mass, which is, do we have enough combat power and do we have enough of it in the right place at the right time? The answer as of right now is no. In pretty much no way do we have enough mass built up anywhere in the galaxy in any of our territory. I've got 3 fleets technically down here in the southern end of the galaxy. I think this is Akbar's fleet here, retrograding from Yagdul back to Bestman, I think is where I told it to go. And that's our strongest fleet. And then we've got these 2 little, and in this case of Admiral Sav here, his fleet is really quite pathetic. Only 65 population cap. That is quite small of the maximum of 300 that you can have in a battle at any given time. Normally I like to consolidate into as few large fleets as I possibly can. I'm accepting a little bit of risk here, spreading these guys out, trying to deter some attacks on our territory, just because we are so tightly mixed and packed in with these Eriadu planets. Want to deter at least some fleet attacks if I can. But that's, not going to be a very effective fleet to attack against. Can maybe beat off a very small attack. Also, looking at my ground forces that I have here, led by General Luke Skywalker, and the forces they have on the ground on Eriadu itself, it's pretty significant. So not a ton of these ground forces as actual units on the planet, but if we look at their defensive structures, the big one here is this Superior General's headquarters. So this is their faction capital structure. Each faction only gets 1 of these in the entire galaxy, and they're going to be spawning 2 AT-AT walkers from this, in addition to several tanks. In addition, they have this light factory, which is going to be spawning tanks, and then a couple of barracks sending out a lot of infantry. And looking at my force here, there are a couple of things that I feel like I'm missing. I want another company of armored free runners, just because they're so good, especially since this is a light factory. It's going to be spawning light tanks. This anti-vehicle blaster on these armored free runners is going to be really powerful. So I've queued up one of those, and then I've queued up a couple of T-47 airspeeders, because if we can get in with those airspeeders, get in behind the enemy lines and destroy this planetary capital, or this faction capital, I might call it that accidentally, sorry, this faction capital early in this battle for the planet, then that'll make it so that we are able to use orbital bombardments and bombing runs, because this planetary, or this faction capital, functions as a planetary shield generator, which eliminates your ability to get that orbital offensive support. So I would like that orbital offensive support, obviously, and I'm going to do what it takes to get it. Ooh, also, I forgot, last time we got a new mission. So let's see, the Trade Promotion Working Group has reviewed our current planetary infrastructure and has concluded it is insufficient to support economic growth. Yeah, you're not kidding. 6,400 credits a month is still not a ton of money that we're making. But for this mission, they want us to build 1 heavy frigate shipyard so that we have a total of 7 in our faction. And let's see, Eriadu, so heavy frigate shipyards are the level 2 shipyards. So that's planets like Eriadu can build one of those. Tiburon already has one of those. Is there any other planet? Oh yeah, Bakura. Okay, cool. Yeah, so we can actually come in here and we can just queue up this for 2,000 credits, low price. Heavy frigate shipyard over the planet of Bakura, which we've conquered. Also am not taxing Bakura. I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. Do I want to do that? Yeah, that'll get us plus L. No, okay, so here's the thing. Bakura is one of the planets in this game where if you get the influence high enough, which right now we are at an influence level of 6, if you get influence high enough, you can build unique and special units, which in this case is just a couple of other types of starships that the Bakuran Navy in the Legends canon developed and built. I think I want to push for that, so I'm actually not going to tax Bakura. But I am not taxing Sluisvan, so let's go ahead and queue that up. Not going to get the level 4 shipyard that we can build over Sluisvan, just because that would be so stinking expensive. 8,000 credits for that, more than 2 weeks or 2 months worth of income, and I don't think we need it. We have this level 4 shipyard up here at Celeste with Mon Mothma's really good bonus, a discount rather. So I'm going to leave that there. Also going to queue up, I think, a Quasar carrier to support Akbar's fleet, to replenish him there. And let's send Akbar over to Tiburon, actually. Oh, and we just got this Alliance Assault Frigate into Sav's fleet. Let's see, that now gives us a total fleet power of 76 for Sav. And then... Oh, was that Quasar coming in? Yeah, so let's grab these assault frigates and let's move you over to Akbar's fleet. And I'm actually going to trade these two locations. Oh, enemy fleet is coming to invade Sluisvan. Okay, that's interesting and not epic. Let's grab a Pathfinder and try to get Akbar down here to defend Sluisvan. So with this warning that we just got on the left-hand side of the screen, an enemy fleet is about to invade, I like to imagine that as we have maybe some spies, maybe some plane spotters, spaceship spotters that are watching at Svyvrin, in this case, for instance, is where it would have to be coming from, I think. They probably just sent an Eriadu fleet from Svyvrin, and some dude with binoculars or whatever watched the starships go, watched them go into hyperspace in the direction of Sluisvan, and then radioed us and was like, hey, there's a probable Eriadu fleet coming for Sluisvan, giving us potentially a little bit of time to react. So let's grab Akbar's fleet now, 180, and let's see if we can get down there. Let's see if we can fight off whatever... Oh, no, we can't. Okay, didn't quite make it in time. That's unfortunate. That means that we are going to... So I'm just going to go ahead and... am I going to auto-resolve this? Yeah, I'm going to auto-resolve this because we just have the basic space station in orbit. Actually, let's play that out. Let's see if we can kill a spaceship to make Akbar's job a little bit easier. They did send this fleet of 42 pop cap, and so that's going to be a couple of, let's see, a lot of triangle ships, right? Because this is an Imperial faction, that's what you get. We got this Acclamator patrol cruiser, so it's a little weaker than a standard Acclamator. Interesting. And then these couple of Imperial 1 frigates, which are, you can see on the tooltip on the left-hand side, designed, kind of modeled as a successor to the Acclamator, and you can see some design similarities on those ships there. And then an Arquitens light cruiser and a patrol frigate. And here come the TIE fighters. Yeah, there we go. And that's all we have as our defending forces. We have this basic starbase, which is very weak, heavy frigate equivalent for hull strength, couple squadrons of starfighters, and this single corvette. So I kind of doubt we're going to be able to do anything here, but I'll show you guys that happen. Let's go ahead and fast forward here. So in this case, like I said, this episode I'm trying to talk a little bit more about the principle of mass. Mass is having the right combat power in the right place at the right time. Eriadu Authority, even with this little fleet, they outmass us. So they are obviously going to win this fight here. Their capital ships alone would be able to take down our starbase, and what's probably going to make the real difference is their bombers are going to do tons of damage. So I'm actually going to send both of my starfighter units. Actually, let's try to kill this Acclamator. I doubt we'll be able to do it. We're going to keep our Corvette back, providing point defense, trying to shoot down some of these bombs that these bombers are sending in. Probably not going to be incredibly effective. Yeah, our Y-Wings are already getting nailed. Yep, our Y-Wings are already smoked because they went 4-1 against these starfighters, plus this point defense frigate here. Station ready. Yeah, I really don't think we're going to be able to do anything here. They're already getting our shields down. We're not even through the shields on one ship. These bombers are just doing terrible, terrible damage. Let's go ahead and auto-resolve. No use wasting time watching that New Republic starbase get destroyed piecemeal by this small Eriadu fleet. However, we do have Akbar coming in. Surprise, suckers! Let's go. Okay, so this is great because Akbar's fleet power is 180. We have our DP-20 as our Pathfinder, as we do, right? And then we should just be able to... I'm actually going to bring in the interdictor first, so we don't have to worry about them retreating into hyperspace. But we should just be able to bring in all of our ships at the same time. We might even be able to take out the fighter bay on some of these carriers before they even spawn some fighters, which would be nice. And let's get a little bit of our point defense in here. Not that it's going to be super needed. This is such overkill. I maybe could have auto-resolved this battle. But, you know, why risk it, right? Auto-resolve, I find, in my experience, is pretty punishing to the player, and you tend to lose a lot more ships than a player would be able to. Like, we might have lost a frigate or two if we'd auto-resolved this, and we are not in the mood to needlessly waste New Republic lives. But there we go, we are victorious. Let's go ahead and take that victory. Now, so, oh, and we just got that mission complete. We get 5 Antarian Ranger platoons on Tibrin. That's actually really nice because they're going to contribute to the ground defense of Tibrin, because I'm scared that Eriadu is going to send a fleet from Vondark, even maybe a big fleet, which they obviously have some bigger forces either at San Rafsix or Svyvrin or Bajik. I'm not sure where they are. I need to get maybe a spy network working. In fact, let's go ahead and queue up Maybe on Sullust. Let's get 2 spies and spy on these other 2 Eriadu planets. So yeah, those Antarian Rangers will help out with the defense here on Tibrin. Okay, great. Now here's the question that I have in my mind is, was that just a raid, or did Eriadu win that first space battle and then send a ground army from Survivrin right before Akbar got in? Because if so, we need to leave Akbar's fleet here. Actually, one thing we can do, I'm just going to take Akbar himself, and I'm going to park him over Eriadu to provide orbital support and Rogue Squadron to Luke and Luke's army here. So with Rogue Squadron, I won't even need those T-47s that I built over at Bespin. In fact, I'm going to come back, and because, I don't know, I don't find the T-47s incredibly useful. Let's go, now we'll go ahead and let it build. So we'll move that last company of free runners over to Eriadu, and then we'll leave Lando now in charge of this fleet. And his job is going to be to intercept an Eriadu ground force if it's coming in on this long hyperspace route from Survivrin. Don't know that it is, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. I'm not going to be able to defend the planet effectively against ground assault, still only have the 1 structure on it. But with that, let's go ahead. I now think we have sufficient mass, especially with Akbar in orbit, with Home 1, with Rogue Squadron on board. I think we're going to be able to take this capital planet of Eriadu. So let's drop Luke in.
Invasion commencing.
We'll go ahead and begin. We have a lot of money, which is great because we're going to be able to buy some turrets. We're going to be able to buy some healing and tending facilities on this planet, and that'll really help us keep our forces alive. So we have Luke here. Let's take a look at the map. The Eriadu, most of the structures are back here underneath this base shield, which is going to deflect laser fire, so that's going to be costly to assault if we take that, if we don't take that down first. I'm actually thinking, and I'm cheating just a little bit because I've played this map before. If I recall correctly, the power generator is back here for this map, which is what powers this base shield. So if we can take that out first, we won't have to fight through that. Also, these blue icons on the map, we can't see any of them, but these blue turbolaser tower icons represent Eriadu turbolaser towers. So if we take down the power generator first, that'll mean fewer of these turbolaser towers we actually have to blast through. And then looking at the reinforcement points, we only have the 5 population, the 5 pop cap available for reinforcements right now. If we take this one in the center here, that'll be another 2. If we take this one up here, that'll be another 2, and we're wanting to head in this direction anyway. But then over here, it looks like this one is 3, and this is an infantry-only path. So what I'm going to do, actually, is I'm going to send Luke, who is infantry, on a sprint up to take this reinforcement point right here. And then I'm going to bring in a few reinforcements. Oh my gosh, do I not have Rogue Squadron attached? I thought I had Akbar in orbit. Why isn't Rogue Squadron showing up as an option? Oh, there they are. Okay, cool. I'm going to leave Rogue Squadron out, actually, and then I'm going to bring in a couple of companies. I'm going to bring in some free runners for that anti-vehicle damage, and then some AACs for that really speedy, both anti-vehicle and anti-infantry damage. Those AACs are going to be really nice. I like them. I like them as vehicles. Those free runners are really good as well. Then we have artillery. We have some heavier tanks, these T4Bs and T3Bs. So let's let Luke capture this reinforcement point, and then immediately pause and send him over here. Actually, no, I forgot. On this map, there are some capturable infantry structures, which we can snag some hesitant local garrisons, some free infantry units, basically. That's going to be important, I think. That's going to help us build some mass on this planet and for this assault. Next, I want to bring in, I think, our self-propelled turbo laser, which is, oh, that takes up 2 population cap. I forgot about that. Okay, that's fine, though, I think. And then, should I bring Rogue Squadron in as well? Let's go ahead and do that, and then let's send these vehicles up here to provide some cover, and then let's bring in some army troopers as well. Maybe should have brought in the artillery. Artillery is great for DPS at range when you're on a ground battle like this. You can really range really far and hit some targets. Okay, cool. Now we've got this garrison spawning orange-colored New Republic infantry. We'll see what type ends up coming out of there, because I think it is random every time in this mod. And let's get this turbo laser up here to start heading off some of these assaults. We'll get these tanks up here too, and then this infantry is going to go try to secure these other capturable infantry facilities, these Quonset huts that are shaded gray currently on the map. That means that's an infantry spawn point that we can capture. And then let's get Luke over to capture this command post, He is going to be a little bit under threat from this turbo laser tower, and then if they send any tanks down, like this anti-infantry tank, that's going to be a little bit dangerous to him. This is why I brought in Rogue Squadron, because they're going to be able to cover a lot of ground really fast and get up there and support him with... Turns out these T-47s, at least in Rogue Squadron, have anti-vehicle blaster cannons, which I was not aware of. Ooh, and that is a lot of vehicles coming in. Okay, can Luke capture this command post? Yes, we got it. Okay, awesome. That is spectacular. That makes me feel so good, actually. So we're going to bring in, I think, 2 companies of heavy tanks right here. And these are going to be protecting Luke against these vehicles that come in. And then we're going to send Luke to come in and take out this infantry here. Meanwhile, so I'm going to be pausing a lot as I toggle back and forth between the 2 halves of the battlefield here. We're going to bring in our artillery back here. And then these infantry, you're going to come up here and capture this capturable infantry. Yeah, we've got some local military squads, so that's nice. And then these guys down here are Defense Force Tactical Units.
I copy. Location
And then we'll see what we get out of this third one, or this third one as well. Turbo laser blimp, let's get you over, and I don't know, unless they bring in something heavy. So this turbo laser blimp is going to be pretty good at taking down... It packs a lot of punch, right? A lot of damage, especially against vehicles. Oh, and there's a turbo laser tower. Let's get our smaller tanks pulled back a little bit. That's not going to be really effective. We'll just have the turbo blimp chill there as well. Sorry guys, like I say, I'm going to be pausing a lot because I'm a little risk averse, trying to conserve some of this combat power and save some of these lives so we don't lose a lot of units. And that's expensive too, right? View that as humane if you want, view that as efficient, because we just lost a unit. What was that being destroyed? No way they took out our tanks. Oh no, they took out one of our T-47s out of Rogue Squadron. Okay, Luke, I'm no longer concerned about you surviving. Let's pull Rogue Squadron back because I do not want to lose them. We can lose, as far as I understand, we can lose all of these T-47s, these snow speeders, except for Wedge. And if we lose Wedge, that means Rogue Squadron is just done, just out of the game forever. Let's get our artillery mapped to level to hotkey 2, and we'll have the artillery start working on, I think, some of this infantry. We don't have any vehicles coming in yet at us. This turbo blimp can work on the vehicles too. Okay, let's get the free runners up a little bit. Let's have the infantry take cover.
Yes, sir.
And yeah, okay, this is interesting. This is getting to be pretty spicy up here. We'll get our vehicles
Yes, Commander.
to take out their vehicles, and our infantry can take out their infantry, hopefully. Okay, so we got Luke here. Let's have Luke come up, and he may be able to take out this turbo laser tower by himself. I think he will. And we'll use these tanks to cover him against things like... Come on, get up there, Luke. So he should have this force crash ability. Okay. Generally speaking, heavy tanks is not really what you want to send against turbo laser towers like this one up here. And let's get our artillery, by the way, to start working on this turbo laser tower too. We're going to have to take that out. Yes, heavy tanks do a lot of damage, and they can take a lot of damage, but they're also very susceptible to the heavier damage from the turbo laser towers. So you want to make sure you outnumber with heavy tanks any turbo laser tower you're trying to assault, because we are losing some health. Oh, and there's AT-ATs. Okay, hey guys, we did take out that turret. Let's see if we can pull these guys back and pull these guys back and pull Luke back as well. And then we'll get our T-47s to fly over here, and maybe we can do some work in this AT-AT. Oh yeah, not loving how this is going. Get back, get back, get back. Artillery, start working. Yeah, we're going to end up losing at least one heavy tank here. And how's this fight on this side going? Ooh, they're sending heavy tanks in. We have almost got their turbo laser tower down, so that is nice. And we can make these guys take cover so they're a little less susceptible to damage. Do I build? What do I build here? I have a couple of build pads that we could maybe use to help us out. Yeah, artillery, you just stay where you are and start working on this formation of tanks that's coming in. And let's put on this build pad here a repair pad, I think, because that'll help keep our vehicles alive a little bit longer. Okay, and turbo blimp, you're starting to take some damage. Your hard points, your individual weapons are down, starting to go down on this heavy anti-vehicle beam, for instance. Let's have you start working on these medium tanks. Okay, unit destroyed. That was our first heavy tank. Let's get you down here, and what I want to do is basically bait... Luke, you go take out that infantry, please. Okay, there's a unit destroyed. Let's bring in another set of medium tanks down here at this reinforcement point, and then we'll be able to deal with these, this formation of tanks that they're bringing in. Okay, Turbo Blimp, I really need you on vehicles. Don't worry about this structure up here. That is just a tax agency, right? So they're not going to be getting any combat power out of that. Let's just leave that be for now.
Yes, Commander.
And then how's Rogue Squadron doing? Okay, kind of. Artillery, can you hit that AT-AT? No, you cannot.
Ready.
Okay, that's fine. Artillery, where are you? You're clear over here. Yeah, I'd rather have you move up here.
Yes, sir.
So their artillery cannot fire on in the move, which is a little unfortunate.
Yes, sir.
Okay, it looks like we beat back most of that assault from those Eriadu vehicles. So I'm going to send our vehicles up here to hopefully start taking out their power generator. Oh yes, and it looks like that is their power generator. Cool. Okay, take out this turret first. This is just an anti-infantry turret, so it's not going to do a ton of damage to our vehicles, but, you know, don't want to just let it sit there and do stuff to us, right? Turbo Blimp, you're out of shields. Get back. Starting to scare me. Get back and heal up. Okay, we just got the message that our bombing run is available. That is not strictly true because, again, remember what I said about their faction capital? That is going to prevent us from doing any bombing runs. And did we just take out that AT-AT? I didn't even see that go down. Cool. That'll be cool. Okay. Well, let's get our tanks and our Luke up here. Let's pull our snow speeders back. And hopefully we're not going to have to assault this turbo laser tower. I'm hoping to just take it down by taking down the power generator there. Yeah, if I go to queue up a bombing run right now, it does not give me the option. The crosshairs are red because of that faction capital. It's somewhere here. But that's okay, that's okay. Because we've now got those turbo laser towers down, that's going to make life way easier. We'll now send this formation of tanks in with Luke supporting an anti-infantry. They have another structure over here. Let's go check out what that is because we're going to have to destroy it. And then with this set of dudes here, we can move you with this fully repaired turbo blimp now. We can move you up and we can start our assault on the base. End up doing kind of a pincher movement against, or pincer, however you say that word, against the Eriadu base here. Let's move on in. Again, this is why we're doubling up with combined arms maneuver, right? We've got infantry, really powerful infantry. We've got decently powerful vehicles. Combined, they should be able to cover each other, take out the targets that each one is poorly, better or worse suited for. All right, let's move this little group up here to deal with the guys on this ramp here. Free runners, target delivery that light tank. Okay, we got it. Alright, so yeah, so everybody here just target this infantry. They have got a lot of infantry. Also, wow, this is a lot of blue dots up here. Not making me happy. Heavy tanks, move in a little farther. Luke, how are you feeling right now? You're feeling good. Let's have you start force crushing using that force crush ability on this faction capital so that we can unlock our orbital support. Meanwhile, these tanks rolling in are taking a little bit of heat from this infantry shooting at them, but that's okay. These heavy tanks are not going to be super well suited for taking out that infantry, but I don't think it's going to be enough to matter. They have built a couple of sensor nodes here which provide some point defense and shoot down the concussion missiles from our heavy tanks, for instance. Okay, and now we can grab everybody here and have you come up and start working on this side of the base. Their faction capital is almost down, including this economic hero who's giving them discounts and stuff, so now we can use things like a bombing run on their planetary capital. Perfect. Luke, don't just sit there. Come in and start working on infantry. That is manifestly what you do. And then we should be able to take these down very quickly. And here come our B-Wings, orbital support. Let's go. We are victorious. Okay, awesome. That actually went a lot smoother than I thought it would. That went way better than I was expecting it to. Because we lost 0 units. We might have lost something. The Empire at War is not entirely perfect at how it calculates that, but look at what they lost. And most importantly, they lost their planetary capital. So, excellent. Great success. Okay, what do we want to do now? Well, we have this spy, so let's send him to Center F6. And then we have, well, we need to build up Eriadu itself, so let's go ahead and queue up those basic ground structures there. Eriadu is going to be really nice. You see this icon here, that little credit icon, that means that if we build a trade hub, we get extra benefits from that. Trade hub is one of the economic stations that we can build over only a certain limited number of planets in the game. And so we want to be careful and kind of choose carefully where we put those and choose the most efficient places for them. Luckily for us, spawning down here in the south of the galaxy, Vondark, Sanraf 6, Svivren all have that marker, that trade hub is good, and a trade port is going to be really beneficial for us economically. So we'll go ahead and unpause there, and I am actually going to switch. Oh, am I? Okay, let's take a look here. I'm still worried that they're going to bring a ground army down to take Sluisvan, so I'm actually going to switch. I'm going to move Sov back down to Sluisvan. I'm going to move Akbar over to Tibrin, and then as soon as Akbar gets there, I'm going to take the rest of Akbar's fleet and get him over there. Okay, a couple of Imperial conquests. The Greater Maldrud conquered Kashyyyk, which I believe is over here. Yep, we're going to need to go take that eventually. Save our friends, the Wookiees. Good relations with the Wookiees we have. And then the Empire of the Hand, which is these light blue guys here, took Karyak. And I have no idea where that is. Would be interesting, though, if they are... Oh, it's here. Okay. So kind of in the middle of their territory there. Would be really interesting if they started fighting against this Imperial faction up here, the Penastar alignment. Otherwise, taking a look at the core Imperial territory, looks like not a lot of changes. Zinj, I don't... Oh, yeah, Zinj taking Ord Mantell and Borlius. I think that's a change from how the starting situation is in the galaxy here. Zinj's empire is now only one jump away from Coruscant. So that's really interesting. One thing I'm going to do, one thing that Thrawn's Revenge has programmed in is the option, let's see, is it this one? Yeah. So we select a planet and then we come over here to this gear menu. Now we have a couple of advanced options. We have a couple of sets of ship sets. This one here gives the New Republic the Starhawk, basically a couple of Disney canon space units. I'm not going to click that one just because I'm going to try to keep this Legends lore accurate. This button here gives a couple of buildable units to the Galactic Empire that are like Fanon ships. I'm going to go ahead and click that because I think they're interesting to fight. There's a really big battle cruiser size carrier and a larger basically a chunky Star Destroyer, right? And then this option over here is something I'm going to click when we have the Eriadu Authority defeated. I'm going to turn a setting called Cruel AI on, which gives the AI buffs and makes them much more aggressive, changes their behavior. I'm already playing on the hardest difficulty, but as you've seen, we've only lost one planet, one very minor planet. Haven't seen a lot of pushing from the Imperial factions and the enemies around us. So I'm going to turn that Cruel AI on, at least temporarily. Might turn it off if it gets a little sloggy, because it can sometimes, but I think that'll make for a lot more interesting gameplay. Hopefully you guys have seen something interesting so far, but also just the way I play maybe, is kind of slow and maybe bugs some people, so sorry about that. We have 7,100 credits. Talked about mass. We still need to build up some of these fleets here. So we got Akbar a reinforcement Quasar, I think, or at least I intended. Yeah, he's got one Quasar there. Let's go ahead and build, let's see, at Sullust with our nice discount. We're going to get a Dauntless Heavy Cruiser and throw that into Sov's fleet. We're going to get a, and I think just to give us tactical options and flexibility, let's get 2 Interdictors and put one each in Nance's and Sov's fleet. And then let's get another Quasar. Yeah, we'll get another Quasar and we'll throw that in Akbar's fleet as well. Really kind of pump up Akbar's fleet and get those New Republic fighters just churning and going. Okay, what do we want to do next though? Sanraf 6 is a level 2 shipyard. They've got 67 population cap of fleet over it. Let's see. I'm actually going to redo the order of this. I didn't need to cancel all of those, my bad. I'm going to do the Interdictors first, and then get the Dauntless for Sov and the Quasar for Akbar. And then let's come up here and see if there's anything we can build to enhance Regab's fleet, because again, only 79 fleet cap, pop cap, that is not going to be very effective in the long term. Let's get for Regab. Let's see, we don't really have a ton of point defense. Let's get him a Nebulon B. And then I do think I want to save up, actually, and end up getting rid of this barracks on Mon Calamari. Do we have a barracks on Mintuine? We do. So I can sell this barracks on Mon Calamari, and I want to save up for this Mon Calamari shipyards, which is going to be really good. Gives us a 30% discount on the Mon Cal ships. Makes sense. The earlier we buy that, the more we save on the ships we end up getting. We'll go ahead and spy out Svivren. Svivren is very weak, very small, and it's looking like they are not going to end up sending a ground army to attack us on Sluisvan. So with that, let's actually take well, no, let's wait for our ships. Let's wait for our mass. We need mass, right? That is like the big thing we lack. Ooh, and Mon Mothma has won the New Republic elections, and dang it, we lost Hublin. He ran away, bravely ran away. So I wonder where he would be. Well, with that, Sanraf 6 is going to be an even easier win. They do have a hypervelocity gun on the ground, which is going to be doing damage to our ships. So if we move in to conquer it, we're going to want to do so very quickly. But let's take Nance's fleet, who I don't know if we've used very much. Let's give him a Pathfinder, and let's move this fleet in to Sanraf 6. Ooh, and we're catching a ground hero in space, and we have an interdictor, so they're not going to be able to get away. That's excellent. That's 2 ground heroes, I think. The Snopel, a sergeant, and then this Grath, a stormtrooper commander. Okay, we'll begin. We will begin again. We'll click begin twice in a row, because apparently that's what you do in this game. Okay, so looking at their fleet, again, very small. Let's go ahead and pause, and because it is so small, I'm just going to drop Nance in first up here in front, and he'll tank any damage that comes in, including, I think, the hypervelocity gun will probably want to fire at him. We will pop his power to shields immediately, which will not actually block the hypervelocity gun. That thing bypasses shields and does damages to hard points. So Nance lost maybe a turbo laser or 2. Now we're safe with the hypervelocity cannon having fired. We're safe to bring in the rest of our support ships. We'll bring in these couple of assault frigates, and this other assault frigate, this Liberator cruiser, which I really like. I love the Liberators. I just think they're really good ships. They've got heavy turbo lasers with medium ion cannons, carry a decent complement of fighters as well. And then we'll bring in our small ships, and again, as you know, I like to do, keep them in a clump so that they can get that tender support. And we'll bring in the interdictor in the back here with the Quasar. So I like to assign these small ships to group 1 so that they will all stick together. And let's get them over here to start interdicting. Wow, so Nance is actually taking quite a bit of heat. That's a little bit concerning. But we can start assigning some of our smaller and more medium-sized ships to work on the Eriadu ships. And Nance, you yourself, you can take out this Imperial frigate so that they are not able to spawn any more fighters out of it. They do have it. Again, I'm kind of surprised. Eriadu feels like it's been building some really fighter-heavy fleets, which is not what they normally do. Normally, Eriadu's whole deal is very large ships, very large fleets. We're probably just ending up attacking them before they've had the ability to actually build any and get any large ships off of the assembly line. And especially with our taking down Sluis Van, their largest shipyard that they have available at the start of the game. That looks like it was really effective because now they're just cranking out smaller ships, which we, funny enough, as the New Republic now have the big ships in the region, which is kind of, again, funny, not really how the New Republic normally plays. They're normally a little bit weaker and have the smaller ships here. Like this cluster here. We can now move, okay, so that hypervelocity gun I think is going to come in and target Nance again, so it's going to destroy, yep, his hangar base destroyed, so he's not going to be spawning any more fighters. That's unfortunate, but he still has a fair number of guns, including the ion cannons. These Mon Cal ships tend to have a lot of ion damage, so they're going to be relatively quick at shooting down the shields and diminishing the shields on some of these enemy ships. What you want to do playing with a New Republic fleet in general, what you're going to want to do is, let's get our point defense up closer here because, yeah, they're sending in a lot of bombers. That's crazy. You're going to want to couple a large ship with a lot of ion damage, like the Mon Cal cruisers, with some of these smaller ships that have a little bit more turbo laser damage, like an assault frigate or a Liberator. Wow, these bombers are really just wrecking us. We really got to prioritize getting these guys down. Yeah, all these A-wings, you guys can hunt the bombers deliberately, please. There's their shipyard down. Let's get all. I haven't assigned any of our bombers specific targets through this at all. They've been just kind of doing what they want, which is not the most effective. Let's get our ships that are in good shape up here to take out the shipyard. Meanwhile, the rest of these ships here can just kind of join the battle against the fighters that the Eriadu Authority has remaining. Then we'll get our interdictor and our Quasar to move up. I don't actually remember seeing or doing anything to destroy the ground units that Eriadu had. Maybe they just got lost in the shuffle? Yeah, they must have done. They're not on the map anymore. We are victorious. Okay. So return to Galactic Map. We got a lot of good victories out of there. And we've got this other interdictor in, which we can now throw down to Sov's fleet, because that was the plan there. Next is going to be a Dauntless for Sov's fleet, and then we should be in business. Oh, and there's the big Imperial fleet. There's, or the big Eriadu fleet rather, as big as it can be. It's 138. So I think that's going to end it for this episode here today, guys. Tune in next time, and our objectives are going to be to take Senrafsix on the ground. Go ahead and conquer that. Probably going to try to conquer Survivorin as well. And then the Eriadu Authority should be weak enough that we might end up seeing them fold in and integrate into the Empire, which is a mechanic that exists in this game to kind of counteract player snowballing. So as the player snowballs, gets stronger, conquers more of the galaxy, the big bad Imperial faction, which can change depending on who it is. Like if this Empire was really weak, it might end up being like Zinj or somebody who ends up getting the integration for Eriadu Authority. But once we destroy a faction's leaders and get them whittled down to a couple or 3 planets, then that Imperial faction will integrate into the larger Imperial faction, give them a boost, all of their units end up going over there. So we could actually end up seeing, if we don't assassinate Hublin here and his fleet, this admiral here, we could actually end up seeing him switching teams and turning green and going for the Galactic Empire. But we'll have to see what happens with that next episode. Thanks for joining me. Hope you enjoyed. Have a good one.